Everybody, it's 6:46 a.m. The morning after I posted the most recent podcast, and one of the boys is there. I'm not sure if it's Lcee or Finn, and then the other one is there. And again, I'm not sure if that's Lcee or Finn. I think it's Finn, and I think the one under the bed is Lcee, but it could be the other way around. And we've got Agita there, and we've been up for the last 3 hours, because we're okay inside, but there's been very severe thunderstorms and a lot of rain. I got up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock when I heard the thunder and everything. And I went to check on the ferals, and there's a lot of water on the side because of the poor grading of the thing and the patio and all of that. So I came out at about 4 a.m. and there was water piling up here. It was pouring, it was thunder and lightning and all that stuff. And there was water piling up here, and I've got the heating pads for the shelters. They were plugged in here, and with all the water and I've got the tarp over the cords, and then it goes into the shed. And but I unplugged them just in case the water goes into the shed. It doesn't from here. It goes under the shed. It goes under the shed, that water, but it does get wet in here because I don't shut this door. They don't want this door shut. I keep it open a little bit for them to come and go. So it's got a bit wet here, but just at the front part. It has got a bit wet, But there, where those shelters are, it's dry. The cords are dry enough, but I didn't want to take a chance. And it's not cold. It is about 10 degrees. So when I came to check then, Bcee was in a shelter and when she went to the back behind the wheelbarrow. This one, Peanut was in, I think, this shelter, okay? And Jill went to hide under the deck, as usual, but that's normal, even if there's no thunderstorm going on. So I went back to bed, but I kept worrying about the kids. And what I did when I came, a couple of hours ago was I just moved the water. Just pushed it forward so it doesn't seep into the shed. It just kind of gathers here. So I just take that thing and I push it, So I'm going to do that again now. Okay, it's now morning, and I fed the inside. I got 2 or 3 hours sleep because I was checking on the ferals. I was worried about the ferals. And the water kept piling up there, so I kept coming out and doing this. It's not going into the shed from there anyway. I think it's going into the shed from the front because they won't use the cat door. So I keep this open. It's not wet. There's no standing water in here. It's just damp. But Peanut is now in that shelter. I'm not sure why she would pick the one closest to the door, but it's cat logic, I guess. It's dry in the shelter. I've not plugged them in because it's so wet. I don't want to risk electrocution or anything, so they're not plugged in. None of the shelters are plugged in. But I fed her in bed, and I'm giving her antibiotics. So, okay, there's Bcee eating, and I saw Jill peeking around the corners. I'm not sure if she's gone into the shed or she's just still waiting there for me to go in. But I just saw her peeking around that corner up there. Bcee is eating. I put everyone, even in spite of the wetness and the dampness and the thunderstorm and everything, they know their food is here. Back from having drinks with food at a bar with one of the friends. The other friend couldn't make it. So got back, and the food I'd given them earlier had run out. So I put fresh, and there Jill and Bcee are eating. Jill and... Hello, everybody. I think it's a couple of days or so later. I don't know when I last taped. And we got one of the boys there, and I think that must be Lcee. And we've got the other boy under the bed, and I think this must be Finn. Where are you, Finn? That's Finn. And Agita's there, and the cleaning person is here, and I'm letting her clean up some of the empty bottles in the garage, which is causing me some anxiety. And she was using the nicer term, you're collecting, and I'm looking, well, empty Coke bottles in the garage, that's more hoarding. I said I'm willing to admit that it's hoarding, but I'm willing to let them go. Today was recycling. They already took, before I picked her up, I put out like 10 empty Coke bottles and 3 empty litter box plastic thingies, but they took out just as we were getting back. So this will have to go in the next recycling. So I'm letting, and I said, okay, if I stay out here, I'm going to go like, let's keep these ones. Let's keep these ones. So I said, I'm going to let you do this, you know. So I let her declutter the laundry room last time. So this time we're just starting on the garage. I mean, the garage is going to be a big job, but this is just all the empty bottles piled up. And then my neighbor is going to be looking after the ferals when Inside Kids and I go to Toronto later this week. So the neighbor will, you know, it'll be a little nicer for her when she looks after the ferals, not to have a whole bunch of empty Coke bottles, you know, around. Just you know, I said, you know, hello everybody, it's later in the day. I'm starting to get a cold, a bit of a sore throat, and I had the chance to go out to a club and some music with my friends tonight, but I just didn't really. I just wanted to stay home and rest, and I went out, got some Advil nighttime, which I'm about to take, and I've just been reading, and I got some soup, I fed the ferals, I turned on their heated shelters. It's getting cold again. I'll go and check on them, and all 3 of the kids are here, so I think this is Lcee, I think that's Finn, and that's definitely Agita, you know, and it's now 11:11, so just relaxing with the kids, reading, and as I said, I'm going to take the nighttime cold meds in a few minutes, check on the ferals, and just go to bed. Bye for now. Buddy, I think it's been a couple of days since I last taped. I have a social life, so kind of taping a little less, which I guess is good. But spent all day today getting ready for the trip. And going to Toronto today. So I've got everybody in the cases. I fed the ferals. My neighbor came over to tell the ferals that she's going to be looking after them for a couple of days. And just got everybody very easily now. They know where we're going. So I got them into the cases, got the boys in there. And we've got Agita there. Going to already loaded the car with stuff. Going to get them into the car and head off, you know. And Jack is here, the front. He's our seeing off committee, as usual. He sees us off when we leave, and he's our reception committee when we come back. So he was just there on the porch. There, you can see that black thing there? That's Jack. Hi, Jack. We're going. Just watch from the porch. Hey, we're in the car. We're about to head to the city. Jack is on the porch watching us leave. Bye for now. Talk to you in the city. I'm here at the dentist, and this is another consultation because we're going to decide denture or you know, the other one, the bridge. I think I'm going to go for denture because the bridge is too expensive. And then he might have to take some more measurements, and then I'll have to come back. So I have to arrange all of that. You know, it's a long way to come, but I prefer this dentist. Anyway, bye for now. Everybody, after the dentist, I did stop in. I shouldn't tape, but I did stop in at the casino right next to me. Now that I know that there's a casino next to the dentist's office, I stopped in there, and hopefully my dental will be ready by tomorrow or Friday, so I can get it done on this trip. But I did stop in the casino, managed to leave up a couple of $100, you know, actually. Now, I'll probably lose it in the other casino, but, you know, and still having eye issues, I might stop by the optometrist. But I was going past Greek Town, and this is the Danforth in Toronto, and I missed eating here. So I've come to this place, Astoria, for their chicken souvlaki and salad, Greek salad, and potato, and Coke. Casino here, and went down a bit, and now we've got a couple $100 back. Bye for now. I knew I was going to come here. I checked with the eye doctors. I don't get an exam yet. I'm just going to put the drops. Up and down, up and down, up and down, as the stuff always. Everybody, I don't think I taped it all yesterday, or maybe I did. I don't know. Just been really busy here at the condo, dental stuff, and my tooth isn't going to be the replacement tooth isn't going to be ready till tomorrow. So hopefully it's going to be a last minute thing. So today I did some car stuff. I had to get the silver gray car boosted, and had to call CA because it wasn't boosting with the other car. So I had to do all of that because it hadn't been used in a few months, just off the road. So did all of that, and then took the car, didn't turn it off because I was afraid it wouldn't start again. So I washed it, and I did all of that. And I'm back at the condo, and kids are there, and the boys are under the bed because they think we might be going back today. We're not going back today, sweeties. We're going back on Saturday. So, I did go to the casino yesterday. Yes, that's another reason I'm not taping, because I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It's way better than the other thing, and it's relatively under control for now. So that's what's happening. I might even go there today. Next day, and we've got one of the boys there, and I think that's Lcee. One of the boys there, and that's Finn. And we've actually got Agita under the bed for a change. There. Right there, there's Agita. But she's under this drawer part. So separate from the under the bed where the boys are. Now both the boys are under the bed. So, a lot to report. I don't know if I even taped yesterday. I got the silver wave Mercedes on the road, had to boost it. It's an old car. Do all of that stuff, and it hadn't been used for some months, so I had to do all of that. I had to call CAA, and they got it washed. And then my new friend from Chatham, was in Toronto on business, and I had invited him to come by for a drink and something to eat on his way back. And he had problems with the business and had to, was delayed, and he asked if he could just sleep on the sofa. And I said, I've got a spare bedroom. That's fine. I've got a master bedroom. So he came and we went for a very nice dinner, nearby, a place that I go to often, and drinks, and came back and we were talking. We went for drinks to a bar, and very nice time, I got a little peopled out. I mean, I'm not used to civilians, and and I was drinking, and that's how I kind of deal with social situations, is that I do drink, so I drank quite a bit, and then he went to bed in the other bedroom, and I sat here with the kids. They came out of hiding, and I just drank. I was just drunk, it was just kind of a thing, because I'd already started drinking, and kind of the socialization, like shifting gears a little bit, the kind of more, a public persona type of thing, but just trying to explain to him, but it's kind of difficult. But, just sat here and drank, and then I didn't wake up early enough in the morning. I was supposed to set my alarm, so he got late for a business thing that he had to do, but he didn't want to wake me up. So he just sat there in this chair and waited for me to wake up. It's very nice of him, Fortunately, I woke up 7:45, and then I said goodbye to him, and I showed him where his car is parked and helped him out, because it was in a underground visitor spot, which is really hard to navigate if you're not used to the building. So all of that, and then after that, I was lying in bed. I came back to bed, and I was like a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit, just all the gambling and the socialization there and the drinking. And then yesterday, and, kind of the intensity of spending time with, with a friend, which I don't, my friends are mostly, text or email contact, one friend I see at birthdays and at solstice, and another friend I see, occasionally when I'm in town, but, this is like, I haven't had anyone stay over at my house or my condo at some time. So it was different, and I felt a little kind of burnt out. Still have the cold. The denture tooth thing hadn't arrived. It's supposed to come today at 4. So and we're heading out in a couple of minutes. So I was lying in bed, and there was a pull. Not for the main thing, but for the casino. And I had some cash left over from casino from yesterday, and I did go before I found out my friend was coming to visit. I did go, and then I left, about exactly even actually. So I'm like a little bit of pull, because I still have cash, and I have casino cash. But you know what? I don't know what's happened, what's shifted, connected with the socialization, connected with, I don't know what. But, a shift of energy. I managed. I was like, no, I don't want to go to the casino. I just don't want to. There's just no point. It's not serving any purpose anymore. So I just stayed home. I just relaxed with the kids, and I tried to start catching up on journal entries. I got behind yesterday. I already haven't taped much on this trip because busy doing all kinds of stuff. But on the whole, a good trip. My friend did come to visit. I went to the dentist. I got the denture thingy, the fake tooth attached. Went to the casino first day, little bit, not a lot, first day, but last couple of days, no casino at all, and no other kind of partying. So that counts as a successful trip, plus some shopping and stuff like that. So we're on our way back. Bye for now. We're taking the other car. Everybody, I got home yesterday, fed the girls, went out, socialized a little bit, went to a bar with a friend. Today, got up, fed the girls, and a friend, one of my new friends, dropped by, and he wanted some help with something, so just helped him a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, since you're here, he dropped in, he didn't have my phone number, so I said, let's go have something to eat. And then we'll go, why don't we have a beer as well? No, we've come to Chuck's. I'm having a beer. It's a very different way for me to spend a Sunday. Hello, everybody. It's now the next day. I don't even know how much I taped yesterday because I just kind of engaged with the social stuff here, rechanneling. It's good for me, but I'm getting a little bit peopled out, but it's okay. I mean, trying to establish boundaries, and it's way, way, way better than, the partying, slithering, gambling and stuff. And, I've got some interesting people and nice people, and, so everything's fine. I did, one of the new friends dropped by on the day, went to have a drink with him, but just one, and a veggie burger. Came back and managed to just stay in. Put a little effort into it, but stayed in with the kids. Fed the fiddles, fed the kids. Relaxed in here with the kids, and got back to journaling. That's what to writing and journaling, and replied to emails from friends in Toronto and out of province. So I did all of that, and that helped. That kind of recentered me a little bit. And today got up, fed the fiddles, fed the kids, and now got some eye issues, some kind of eye infection. And I went to the optometrist there in Toronto, but I've used up my eye exams for the year. So I said, okay, I'll just try drops. And I think I put the wrong drops. So I'm going to check at the pharmacy here. The eyes are really watering and irritated, and it happens from time to time. And everybody, I haven't taped, I think, in a couple of days now, because just been, readjusting to the ordinary world, and I'm friends, socializing into bars and drinking. Though I haven't. Yesterday, I didn't go to a bar at all. Just stayed home with the kids, errands in the day. Got a submarine, came back, fed the kids, fed the fiddles, the usual, every day, return to ordinary world stuff, and looking after the kids, looking after the ferals, and, working on journal entries, and watching some streaming, and doing some light reading, stuff like that. And today the cleaning person is over, so she fixed. She's also a handy person. She fixed one of my locks. The front second door lock wasn't working, or the handle had come off and stuff like that. So she did all of that, and I talked to her a bit about I had a dream last night about cats and things. So kind of really intense dreams, and I had so I talked to her a little bit about that and the system of dream interpretation, and then she's back to work, and I'm like working on journal entries here with Lcee is being very bold, and he's on the bed with me and Agita, and I don't know if you can see this, but Finn is under the bed. He's the indoor scaredy cat, And outside we had a bit of a thunderstorm, so Bcee and Jill went under the deck, but Peanut remained in the shelter. And as I was telling my cleaning person, the Peanut was in the green shelter, which is raised, in case of flooding. So she was thinking about this. So anyway, that's what's happening. I'm hoping to post the next podcast on the weekend. So in a way, there's a lot has been happening over the last, it's been more than 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. And in a way, it's been less eventful because I haven't been gambling. Or two short trips in Toronto when I was there. But I haven't been gambling and haven't been partying, slithering. It's been, friends, going to bars and drinking, working on everyday stuff. So that's what's been happening. I'll try to take more. Sweetheart, yeah, he realized that her tolerance for having him on the bed and being petted by me was starting to wear a little thin. Anyway, that's what's happening. Bye for now. It's now the next day, and we've got one of the boys there, and I think that's Finn. And we've got the other boy there, and I think that's Lcee. And we've got Agita there, and we've got all 3 ferals outside. It's not super warm, it's -2 or something like that, but it's bright. And it was raining a lot yesterday. So we get Jill over there, a Peanut there, we got Bcee there, we got squirrels and chipmunks running around all over the place. So the news is, I did tape a little bit yesterday. I don't know how much of that I'm going to use, but my cleaning person came and, did a very good job as always, and also did a good job of switching the door handles around. This one was not working, and I have extra measure there. I put the things. So I've I talked to my friend in the evening, and I did some reading, and I fed the kids, fed the girls. It was raining, so I had to make sure that the water wasn't gathering next to the shed and stuff like that. Checked on the ferals, went to bed, checked on the ferals in the morning, fed the ferals, fed the kids, put out some recycling, and I'm now going to go, get some cat food. It's on sale at Canadian Tire, so I'm going to go get some dry for the ferals there and get some wet for ferals from PetSmart, and get some pouches and sachets for the inside kids. Probably PetSmart. I shop around, and I might have a lunch or a brunch or something like that. Everybody having brunch at a local brunch place, and then I'm going to go do some shopping. Bye for now. Everybody, it's now the next day, and we've got one of the boys there, and I think that's Finn. And we've got the other boy here, and I think that's Lcee. Lcee nicely watching the birds and stuff. Finn sitting here, he's going to go, I think, to the other window perch. Agita there. And all 3 ferals there. Jill, focus. Jill, Peanut, and Bcee. Now I've just fed the inside kids. About to go out to feed the outside kids. It's about -2, -3, but it's bright. So the outside the ferals are sunning. Last night I did go to a friend's house. Had a drink, went to a bar, had another drink, and then I just felt like coming home. So I came home, and then my friend called me, and I talked to him for a while. So, but socialization. So it's a good rechanneling, I guess, and it's good to have sort of a social network here. Anyway, that's what's happening. Bye for now. Everybody, it's a little later in the day. I'm just relaxing. Still haven't started my journal entry, but we've got Agita there. One of the boys, I think Lcee, but I could be wrong. There. One of the boys under the bed. I think that's Finn, because Finn's the one who likes to go under the bed. And just take a look at this. We got all the ferals. We got Bcee there. We got Jill very comfortably settled there. And Peanut there. It's not super warm. It's like 1 degree. And look at the squirrels and the chipmunks. And somebody was asking me yesterday, your ferals get along with them, and I say, yeah, they love the feral. They protect from Jack. Jack's in lockdown right now, so for the day. So, I think the squirrels and the chipmunks know that they're protected here by my wonderful ferals. Look at them, just playing all over the place. And the boys haven't noticed because they'd be like watching from the windows. So that's what's happening. I'm just going to get started on journal entries. Probably going out with friends and going out to a friend's place for dinner tonight. That's kind of unusual for the nutty prof. Anyway, good distraction. Bye for now. Everybody, it's the next day, and we've got Finn very nicely settled there. Agita and Lcee here in the bedroom. And out here, you can see all three of the ferals. There's Bcee, there's Peanut, and there's Jill. And now Lcee is looking that way because, there were a lot of squirrels earlier, but, it's kind of quiet out there now. And look, there are the three ferals again. Very, got Bcee right there, and Peanut there, and Jill there. And they're very nicely settled because it's warm. It's like 6, 7, 8 degrees, something like that. It's not quite sunny now, but this is their favorite, sun tanning spot, even though there's no sun, but it's warm. So the news is, yesterday I did go out to the bar and had a couple of drinks there with friends. Then went to another friend's house for some food and a couple more drinks. Kind of spaced out, but I had 2 coolers left, which my friend sent back with me. So as soon as I got back, if I have the booze in the house and I've already been drinking, I finished them like right away in the living room. I just sat in the living room and drank the 2 coolers quickly. And that pushed me over the edge. And that was like, okay, I got a bit, I got a bit of a hangover. I got to bed. I gave the kids, I checked on the ferals, of course, and I gave the kids their treats at night, and I went to bed. Woke up feeling a bit hungover. So I fed everybody and then went back to bed, napping here with Agita and Lcee. Well, Finn loves that front thing, and all three of those ferals, they're really something. So I'm planning on now going to PetSmart to get some more, to stock up, because they gotta buy $50, get $10, points. Special. I made use of it the other day, but today's the last day of the special, so I might as well stock up, and I might as well have some brunch. I did eat at night with my friends while drinking, but still feeling a bit tired, and hangover is kind of diminishing now. After sleeping much of the day, so I'm now going to go get go to PetSmart and have brunch. I think I'll have to go to an all-day place because I've passed the timings for most brunch places. So as my friend in out of province keeps saying, all this, the drinking and the boozing and the socializing and getting people out and stuff like that, it's all better than the other thing. Better than the partying, slithering, and even better than the gambling. As I was saying to my new friend over the phone, the gambling, it's less harmful than the other stuff, but it's still not good. Whereas the socializing, I mean, it is more positive. I do end up hungover a bit. The main news is it's 6 months clear today of party. 6 months, So thanks to, of course, the kids, as always. Plus, to a certain degree, the earlier stretch of that, and one of the rough stretches, when around 3-4 months, the polls ramp up. And I got through that with the gambling, with kind of heavy gambling, and then after that, there are, thanks to a lot of support and hanging out, socialization with my new friends, going to bars, So just have to be careful about the drinking and driving and stuff like that, and and so try to keep limits, and and space it out, and then come back home if there's anything left over. That's where I overdo it a bit. So that's what's happening. I will try to talk a little bit more after I come back, and then edit and post. So that's what's happening. Bye for now. There's not too much more left to say. The biggest news is 6 months clear, and I think that there will be, I'll edit together enough material from the last 3 weeks, and it's going to be a longer stretch this time because it was 3 weeks rather than my usual 2. So, and then in between there was a trip to Toronto and all of that stuff, and lots of socialization and rechanneling and stuff like that. So, but I will tape a little bit more and then try to edit and post. That's what's happening. Bye for now. Everybody, it's later in the day. We got one of the boys there. I think this is Lcee, but I could be wrong. We got one of the boys there, and I think this is Finn. Yeah, I think it's Finn. I could have them mixed up, but I think that's Finn. Agita's there drinking water. I'll plug in the fountain. Give me a second, sweetie. I plugged it in, and she drank some water from the running fountain. That's Agita. I've already shown the ferals today. All three were in the deck earlier, and I took the footage. I think Peanut is in her shelter now, and I saw Jill a couple of minutes ago around here, and Bcee is there, very camouflaged because she matches the leaves. That's Bcee in her camouflage. She likes sleeping in that. It's kind of like straw, I guess. I'm told that feral cats like straw. Feral cats like straw. So I'm not sure there's that much more that I want to add. I'm going to let the footage, I'm going to do some editing now. I'm going to let the footage speak for itself. But I've already mentioned this. 6 months clear. Actually, a little over 6 months and 3 days, or something like that. 6 months clear. And that is thanks to, effort, rechanneling, spending a lot of time here with much less options. And then kids, of course, the biggest pushes of all, my 3 inside kids and the 3 ferals, So Agita, Lcee and Finn, and Peanut, Bcee and Jill, the biggest pushes, And on top of that, gambling also. Control burn. I tried to explain concept of control burn to someone last night, but gambling with a control burn is not the best option, but it did work when the pulls were very strong, which they usually get to be at around 3-4 months, in spite of how deep that last one was, and they're getting deeper and worse. The binges, the excursions, or what do you want to call them? So the transformations, the possessions, whatever. So they're getting deeper and more dangerous, and just more antisocial. So I'm just like, okay, I put everything into it. Gambling better than that. So control burn, that's the concept, and that took over. That became kind of a beast in its own right, as my friend says. But I managed to get out of that with some difficulty. But the socialization, the next round, kind of meeting people here, bar people, drinkers, not that kind of party, but and people around my own age. So and I have told them that I struggle with addiction. They do, not the details, not the sort of details, but I have. Shared little bits, and they know that's one of the main reasons I moved here. So, but spending a lot of time with them, and that's helped. I mean, that's a whole different energy, and we'll talk about that another time. So all of that really helped, and a friend from here actually came to visit me when I was in Toronto, and that was nice. I went to a restaurant and had a nice meal, and that was interesting. And then I drank a lot. Drank a lot last night too. So, but the drinking is more acceptable than the other stuff, than even than the gambling. And I try to be very careful about the drinking and driving. That's the main thing. So that's what, and of course, as always, the kids, So I'm not going to talk more about all of this right now. I'm just going to edit it. It has been 3 weeks because there was a trip to Toronto, and then there was I got really the socializing here and the going to bars and weekends with friends and all that stuff. So with my new friends, so. It kind of got, and there was a dentist thing in Toronto, and I think I've shown all of that. So I'm not going to talk more about it. I'll just say this is a milestone, So thanks to the kids, thanks to my friends and neighbors, thanks to casinos too, I guess, even though that's not the best way of dealing with it. So have made it 6 months, and we're just gonna keep going day by day as always. So from the 7 of us. So from Agita there, who thinks she's hiding behind the door, one of the boys there, and I think this one is Lcee. Other boy there, and I think that's Finn, just because it's Finn who likes to go into the bed. And now Agita's back on the bed. And the feral's out there. And I think, I'm not sure if Bcee is still camouflaged there. But from the three ferals who I showed earlier, got footage, I'm going to include it. So from the three ferals out there, Peanut, Bcee, and Jill. Agita back on the bed. Finn still under the bed. Lcee there. And myself, without a doubt, the craziest, nuttiest, most fucked up I still have the title, most fucked up professor ever walked the face of this earth. 6 months clear of Party Slither and counting. See you next podcast. Bye for now. See you next podcast. Editing, and I think I have a little bit of extra space there, so a little bit of bonus footage here. And I just want to show that I think this is Finn. I think this is Lcee, but as usual, it could be the other way around. I know this is Agita. And I just came out because I think my neighbor was out here checking for Jack, probably. Back there. So, and we've got Peanut there. Bcee had been there, but must have gone to hide in the bush or under the deck when the neighbor came over looking for Jack. And Jill was on the deck earlier, but must have gone under the deck again because the neighbor was looking for Jack. I hope he found him. So that's what's happening. And I do have footage of Bcee and Jill from earlier today, which I've already included. So I'm back in, and I think my neighbor was in the back, but I got a text, so I'm gonna reply to that in a second. I think it was probably just looking for Jack, who was slithering around here, as he often does. So we've got Agita there. We've got one of the boys, possibly Finn there. Actually, I think this one is Lcee. And I think this one is Finn. And I just wanted to add, I think I did already say this, but a huge thank you to my neighbors for looking after the ferals when we were in Toronto, as always. And a thank you to my new friends for, helping keep me out of trouble. The kind of trouble that I get into. So keeping me, just socializing and drinking and stuff like that. But, ordinary world stuff compared to my forays into the underworld and transformations and really, really dark stuff. And, dark and sort of like very addictive and very shadowy, But so that's what's happening, So from the 7 of us, bye for now. See you next podcast.